my mind. I see you in all the pieces in my life. Though you weren't mine, you were my first love.
I got married to the love of my life, Andrew Higgins. He was my high school sweetheart. There was no one else I was looking at in high school, just him. Honestly, there's nothing more I could ask in a man. He is funny, he is sweet, he could be a bit nerdy at times, but he just knows how to cheer me up. And we had a perfect life. We were doing great as a couple. And things just got even better when I found out that I was pregnant. Both of us were so excited and thrilled about the pregnancy. Every conversation we had included, oh, we have to start thinking about the baby. We have to start doing this, we have to start doing that. So I started decorating the baby's room, getting the crib ready, buying all these toys in anticipation. Me and Andrew would always argue over whether the baby would be a boy or a girl, and I rooted for a girl, while he always said, oh no, I know it's gonna be a boy. But regardless of the sex, I knew that the baby would always be mommy's angel. We started shopping for the baby early on. Anytime we would go to Target or Walmart and we would see like a little hat or a little socks or a shirt or a onesie, we just had to pick it up. After we found out the sex of the baby, we started gearing towards pink items and things that would, or little shirts that would have daddy's girl or mommy's girl, things like that. So her dresser was pretty filled with pink clothes. For you ladies out there, before you buy all these clothes for your child, wait until the baby shower, because people are gonna give you tons of gifts. Trust me, I learned my lesson. 9 months later, little Mariah was in my arms, and I can just remember how small her hands were and how small her feet were. Her body was so soft and warm. It was the most precious thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Holding her and seeing her for the first time, Andrew just couldn't stop looking at her. He was overwhelmed with joy. It was so funny. He wouldn't even allow me to hold her at one point. A day later, we were able to take her home, and I was honestly so happy to be out of that hospital. Finally, to leave, be able to go home and sleep in my own bed with my new baby. That was the only thing I was longing for the whole time. As soon as we got home, the first thing I did was sleep, and Andrew just took her and cradled her and sang to her all night long. The first few days were fine with Mariah, but weeks later, I started having these feelings of anxiety. I just was constantly worried about her. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't make decisions. Everything was just clustered in my mind. Nothing was clear to me. It got to the extent that I didn't even have an appetite to eat. Whenever Andrew would tell me about his work and how he had been getting promotions and how things had been going well, and I just couldn't be excited for him. I had too much to think about. I couldn't sleep. When Andrew would be sleeping beside me, snoring his head off. I'd be awake for hours, just picturing things, thinking about things, imagining things for hours and hours. I didn't know what was going on. I became extremely exhausted. One day, Mariah just kept on crying, and I tried my best. I held her, I sang to her, I cradled her, I put her in the rocking chair. Nothing would work. She just kept on crying. I fed her. I didn't know what to do, so I was fed up, and I just sat down and left her there to cry. From that point on, I entered extreme depression, and this was 4 months in. All the thoughts I had were negative. Nothing I did was right. I was a failure as a mother. I thought that she hated me. I thought that perhaps I wasn't or I wasn't suitable for her. I just couldn't do it. Maybe mothering wasn't for me. Sometimes I would even think of just packing my things and leaving the house, because honestly, I felt like a liability. And I was ashamed of myself. I decided to seek professional help. Perhaps maybe someone would be able to tell me what exactly was going wrong. So I went to visit our family doctor, and I sat there and I waited, and even during my wait, contemplating whether to leave, because it was taking a long time, and at the same time I was already discouraged. But I waited, and finally our doctor attended to me, and I told him about how I was feeling, the thoughts I had been having, all that was going on. And he explained to me that I had postpartum depression. It was the first time I had ever heard of such a term. I didn't know exactly what it was, but he gave me a pamphlet that explained what exactly he advised me to seek therapy, and he gave me some antidepressants. So I took his advice, and I went to a couple of groups where I was able to speak to other mothers who were going through the same problem. And with time, I started to feel like myself again. I began playing with little Mariah. We used to love playing Lego together. And honestly, without the treatment, I don't know where I'd be today. I don't know what would be the outcome of my family. So far, it's been 4 years since Mariah's birthday, and things are going great. I'm taking my medication. I'm feeling great. I'm loving my life. I'm loving my family. And there's nothing more in this world that I would ever want. But for you guys out there who are listening to this, I'd just like to let you know that postpartum depression is real and it hurts. So please be aware.
I see you in all the pieces in my